I've done a lot of puzzles, and honestly, this one just might be my very favorite. Not because it's the hardest, not because it's the fanciest, and not even because it is slightly adorable. Come on in and I'll show you why I loved it. The puzzle I'll be working on today is 1,000 pieces, Kaleidoscope of Feathers, and I've actually never done a puzzle by this puzzle brand before. At first glance, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of birds, a lot of colors, a lot of feathers, and a lot of eye contact. I counted, and I'm pretty sure it's 38 parrots staring directly into your soul. However, despite the eye contact, the picture is fun, but you don't always know what you're going to get with a new puzzle brand. But as I was building this thing, everything seemed to come together. So come on in with me, we're going to unbox this thing and put it together piece by piece, time-lapse style. And I will tell you why it was one of my favorites at the end. But wait, before we get started, I want to make sure I get to do puzzles with you again, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. All right, let's dive on in. All right, we're done. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Here's why this was one of my favorite puzzles. First, I love puzzles where as you're doing the puzzle, you get more familiar with the picture and notice things you didn't notice at the end. At the very outset, this just looks like a bunch of creepy birds. But as I spend more time with the puzzle, I got to know them. You have the curious bird, the grumpy bird, the bird that looks slightly judgmental, the I don't know what I'm doing here green bird in the back. And it turns out that all these ruffles are like as distinct as stripes on a zebra. Next, I love it when puzzles have high contrast lines because you end up with pieces like this that have a really easy differentiation between colors. So like on this piece, I know I'm looking for a red bird that is exactly to the right of a yellow bird. If I look at the picture, there's only so many places that could be. Which, speaking of picture, reminds me of the next thing I loved about this puzzle was it comes with a poster. Now, most puzzles have the picture on the box, but having an actual poster gives you a bit of an edge. First of all, the puzzle's a bit cut off, so you actually are missing out on whole birds that kind of get wrapped to the side. With a poster, you can see the entire puzzle, especially on a puzzle like this where the poster is super helpful. Essentially, whenever I picked up a piece, I was just going straight to the poster, rather than trying to feel my way around based on what was already there. And the last thing I liked about it was the puzzle shapes. They had the perfect variety. It wasn't one of these crazy puzzles where like they're all different shapes or weird or twisted or full of straight lines like the last puzzle I did. Check it out. But they also weren't that boring, two prongs, two divots type of shape that you always see. They were just clean, traditional puzzle pieces where some of them have 3 points, some of them have 1 point, and some of them have 0. And you get that extra edge to be able to look for a particular number of prongs when you're going to look in that blue pile. So when you put it all together, you have a puzzle that looks a bit chaotic and maybe a bit intimidating, but there's lots in here that help me along the way. I feel that these guys are my buddies now. 10 out of 10, would recommend. And if you want this exact puzzle, you can get it at my online store, jennyjigsaw.com. I'll even send it to you with a signature. I'll also link to a new version below. I hope whichever one you pick up, it brings you as much joy as it brought me. Let me know in the comments, what are some things that you really appreciate about puzzles that make them fun to do? What's your favorite puzzle you've ever done? I definitely wouldn't have guessed that mine would be a puzzle from a brand called Larkpuzz. But for today, apparently it is. Again, I really hope to see you back here, so make sure you are subscribed and like the video, comment below so we get to see each other again. See you next time.